It's our first Halloween together. So I thought I'd just tell you about a Halloween that I remember when I was a kid. When I was a kid, probably 10, maybe 11, it was one of the first times I got to go out with my friends trick-or-treating on my own without my parents with us. I think I was dressed up as Superman, maybe the Flash. I don't remember. It was a plastic mask with a plastic smock for the costume. Anyway, there was a house on the route. Nobody ever went there. Nobody ever would dare, because it was a huge mansion. And the people that lived there were always strange. The father had gray skin. When he smiled, it would almost be like if he had fangs, it would have looked more normal. The wife was plump, but not pleasantly plump. She was just weird. The kids, we never saw them at school. We never saw them playing in the yard. Never saw anything other than every now and then they would be looking out the window. But this year, they had decorated for Halloween. There were pumpkins in the pathway. There was a scarecrow with a jack-o'-lantern head sitting on their front porch. Just sitting there, slumped over to the side. And my friend, John, that I was out with, best friend at the time, wonder whatever happened to him. Anyway, he convinced me to go up to the door and ring the bell and ask for trick or treat. So I decided to. I remember walking down that path. It was really a long path. There wasn't even a sound to be heard. There were leaves that crunched underfoot because nobody ever braked it. Nobody ever blew it away. But I walked up the stairs, and as my hand reached out for the doorbell, I swear I heard a voice whisper, "Help me." But it had to be the wind. I had to be the wind because there was nobody else around. I rang the doorbell. The father came to the door with that smile on his face, and he handed me a Reese cup, maybe a Kit Kat, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. And he smiled that smile at me again, and then he slowly closed the door. And I swear as he closed the door, the hinges sounded like they were saying, "Help me." I turned away quickly, not wanting to spend any more time at that house. And I almost slipped in a puddle of wetness on the porch. It had been raining apparently earlier. But I left. And after that, me and my friends went home. And so I walked into the foyer of my house. I took off the mask and the smock. And as I was taking off the shoes had a little bit of red paint on them. Not much, just a drop. It's almost like I had walked through a puddle of red paint. Don't remember where it was, but I must have. And anyway, I took my shoes off. I ate my candy. I watched my movies. And then I went to bed. The next day, I was walking to school, and the house was still decorated, except that scarecrow was gone. Wonder whatever happened to that scarecrow. See you next year.